Every Sunday in early 19th century New Orleans, slaves gathered by the hundreds at Congo Square for an afternoon of song and dance. Uncoupled, limbs akimbo, some naked but for a sash around the torso, they gyrated to the beat of the bambulas, the yowl of the banzas, shuffling, gliding, trance-stepping, crouching, a position that signifies vitality in Congolese culture, and mimicking the cries of animals. Some wore garments ornamented with ribbons, feathers, little bells, and shells. The dark-complexioned dancers were surrounded by men, women, and children, patting juba, an African-derived technique for tapping rhythmically against parts of the body, striking their thighs, their chests, chanting, clapping their hands while others played drums, gourds, tambourines, makeshift marimbas, and banjo-like instruments. The Sunday swoon in Congo Square, or Place des Nègres, as it was also called, provided a much-needed respite from the dehumanizing grind of plantation capitalism. This rite was reenacted on a regular basis until slave owners began to suspect that the complex percussive beats were sending secret, subversive messages to resistive blacks. Several years before the Civil War, African drumming was prohibited throughout the South. But music persisted as an indelible aspect of the dynamic cultural legacy transmitted across the ocean and passed along to generations of slaves and their descendants. From the African dances of the old days would come the driving energy of modern jazz. Today, Congo Square is an open area within Louis Armstrong Park, so named in honor of the jazz marvel, born and bred in New Orleans, who gained fame initially as a horn player and later as a vocalist, a musical ambassador, and a character of epic proportions. Although he lacked formal musical training, Armstrong rearranged the sonic terms of American popular culture, and his innovations reverberated far and wide. More than anyone else, he taught the world to swing. Known affectionately as Satchmo and Pops to millions of adoring fans, he was a huge international celebrity. Before Bob Marley, before Muhammad Ali, Louis Armstrong was the original black superstar. Armstrong grew up dirt poor, a shy, fatherless child who picked food out of garbage cans and ran errands for pimps and whores. Initially, he was raised by his grandmother, a former slave, in a country where black people were still considered less than fully human. American apartheid was imposed by vigilante terrorism and Jim Crow legislation that codified racial inequality. Armstrong not only had to ride at the back of the trolley like all African Americans in pigment-conscious New Orleans, he bore the brunt of additional prejudice because his skin was very dark. For Armstrong, music was a siren call leading him out of misery. As a young man, he joined the great exodus of African Americans from the South who migrated to Chicago and other northern industrial cities in the 1920s, seeking jobs and a better life. Some bands in Chicago rejected Armstrong because his skin was so dark, but he was readily welcomed into the fraternity of marijuana-smoking musicians, the Vipers, who gigged in the Windy City. During a break between sets at the Savoy Ballroom, the trumpet maestro inhaled his first stick of gauge, one of the preferred nicknames for cannabis in jazz circles. He liked the sweet smell and taste. It calmed his nerves and lifted his spirits. "I had myself a ball," he effused, adding, "It's 1,000 times better than whiskey." Thus began Armstrong's enduring romance with Mary Warner. From then on, he smoked reefer daily, and it didn't appear to compromise his musical dexterity or work ethic. 300 concerts a year, no slacker was he. Pops swore by cannabis and often touted the benefits of the herb, telling jokes, jiving, proselytizing, and kidding endlessly with his cohorts. "We all used to smoke marijuana," a wistful Armstrong recounted years later. "Yeah, it's a thrill to think back to those beautiful times and wonderful cats who congregated to light up some of that good shizit, meaning good shit."